Hola, hola, buenas noches, muchachos. Feliz viernes y bienvenido una vez más a otro episodio o otro en vivo de Buenas Noches Farcaster. Mi nombre es Alexander y bueno, me pueden conseguir en Warpcast o en Farcaster como @wasgood_al. Y bueno, una vez más, como pueden ver ahí en la pantalla, al lado mío, ya sea a la derecha o a la izquierda de ustedes, está este gran compañero mío, este gran amigo mío, mi compadre, futuro compadre, y él es el analista número 1 de Latinoamérica para mí, en mi opinión, en mis libros. Le doy la bienvenida a mi amigo y pana, el señor Mr. Crypto Wen Moon, hermano. Bienvenido, buenas noches.
Buenas noches, Alex. Buenas noches a todos y buenas noches, Farcaster. Gracias, Alex. ¿Cómo te encuentras el día de
¿Cómo
hoy?
estás?
¿Cómo estás? Muy bien,
Bien,
yo me
bien.
encuentro
Mira,
muy bien.
hermano, ¿hay este feedback o no? ¿Estamos bien?
No, se escucha perfecto. Perfecto.
Ok, ok, excelente. Bueno, mira, gracias a Dios estoy bien, Ray. Excelente viernes. Todo empezó bien, full trabajo y aquí estamos, brother. Y bueno, súper contento porque estos invitados que tenemos el día de hoy o con quien grabamos, me encantó este proyecto y es algo que estoy emocionado en presentárselo también a nuestra comunidad. ¿Qué te pareció hablar con ellos esta semana
Mira, me
sobre
alegro
esto?
y la verdad que es algo nuevo. Aprendí un par de cosas nuevas que vamos a
Ujú,
entrar un poquito aquí en detalle. No es un spoiler como tal, pero bueno,
claro,
hablamos con la gente de Snickerdoodle y aprendimos
exacto.
un poco sobre lo que es la publicidad y lo que las empresas también llegan a gastar
Anuncios,
en publicidades, en anuncios que van dirigidos hacia
exacto,
nosotros. Y gracias
correcto.
a Snickerdoodle, lo que buscan ellos es una mejoría de cómo se distribuye esto hacia los usuarios, pero también beneficiando a las empresas, por lo cual está muy buena esa parte. Y bueno, aquí más
Correcto.
adelante lo van a ver, no quiero spoilear, como dicen, no quiero spoilear nada de lo que viene ahora en la entrevista para que puedan disfrutarla a pleno. Así que,
Fíjate que
¿qué te pareció a ti?
no lo considero un spoiler porque así ellos también entienden un poco más, ya que la entrevista fue en inglés, ¿no? Entienden un poquitico más lo que es ese proyecto, inclusive lo podemos hablar al final también un poco más, pero lo que acabas de decir tú, lo que son los anuncios, estas empresas que nos tienen como target, ¿no? O a veces uno dice que ya eso ya lo sabemos ya de que nos escuchan los teléfonos, las habla, entonces cada vez que tú dices que te vas a comprar un par de zapatos, un reloj o X, Y, Z, al ratico te aparecen los anuncios, ya sea en Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, lo que sea. Entonces, bueno,
Sí,
ellos lo que,
me ha pasado, eso que mencionas
sí,
me ha
sí,
pasado.
exacto. Entonces, yo, bueno, a veces digo, ojalá y el banco se equivoque y me depositen 5 o 10 millones de dólares, pero nada, nada. Y bueno, me gusta también porque aparte de eso que ellos tienen esta cosa que se llama Share to Earn, ¿verdad? Que si tú compartes estos anuncios, obviamente tú vas a ganar, ¿verdad? Y aparte que la empresa gana, ganas tú. Y si las personas que hacen las encuestas de estos anuncios, ellos ganan también. Entonces,
Exacto.
en este caso, los anuncios que uno ve ahorita, el día de hoy, los que ganan son las empresas, no nosotros. Lo que perdemos nosotros es el tiempo y esa molestia que tenemos en el celular viendo el contenido que estamos viendo. Eso es lo que estamos perdiendo nosotros. Entonces, vamos, Ray, a lanzar el episodio. Acuérdense que estamos hablando con Isaac o Isaac. Él es oriundo de la isla de Puerto Rico, la Isla del Encanto, y también Gregorio, él es oriundo también de Guyana. Los dos están residiendo ahorita en Estados Unidos y entonces, bueno, Ray, eh, vamos para encima con este episodio que es de Snickerdoodle y tenemos aquí, le presentamos a Isaac y Greg. Muchachos, espero que les guste.
Sí, Alex, dame un momento porque no he cargado todavía aquí el video, pero ya lo voy a cargar aquí para que
Ah,
puedan ver.
no,
Y
no hay problema.
como comentaba Alex, lo que es al respecto de los anuncios, ¿verdad?
Ajá,
Eh, siempre las empresas van a pagar publicidad para poder vender, ¿verdad? Que eso es lo que buscan ellos. Y, por ejemplo, no sé si les ha pasado que están buscando comprarse cualquier cosa, que están buscando un mouse, unos audífonos, cualquier cosa que están buscando, y luego que lo buscan van a ver cómo esos anuncios les siguen llegando, inclusive puede ser que compren el producto y los anuncios les siguen llegando. No sé si les ha pasado eso, pueden comentar aquí en el chat a ver si eso les ha pasado a ustedes también.
Correcto. Sí.
Entonces,
Buenas noches y bien.
esas cosas pasan, y bueno, ahí sale un poco el video, pero bueno, esas cosas pasan, y bueno, también con el Snickerdoodle se busca mejorar cómo van esos anuncios hacia la gente, porque obviamente hay empresas que pagan y van a pagar un grupo de anuncios que va para un grupo de personas, no solamente va para ti, no va a decir, bueno, ¿qué es lo que le gusta a Alex? Bueno, vamos a dispararle estos anuncios a Alex solamente. No, porque eso
Exacto.
buscan, mandan por localidad, por región, por edad, disparan esos anuncios y bueno, pagan esos anuncios así en cantidad,
Eh,
y por eso es que vemos esos anuncios. Entonces,
Exacto.
puede ser que ya compramos el producto y todavía nos sigue saliendo la publicidad.
Correcto. Una
No,
molestia grande que
no
tú
sé si a
compres tu
ustedes les ha
celular y de
pasado.
repente como por 2 o 3 semanas después que tú compres tu celular o tu reloj, sigan esos anuncios, sigan esos anuncios, sigan esos anuncios. Y eso es una pérdida de tiempo y pérdida de dinero para las empresas que te tiran esos anuncios a cada rato.
Exactamente, bueno, entonces por eso traemos a Snickerdoodle, que están integrados ya en Farcaster. Ya pueden ver algunos frames que dentro de un rato yo los voy a compartir para que cuando termine la entrevista puedan interactuar con esos frames y ustedes van a poder recibir unas recompensas a cambio. Eh, bueno, vamos a comenzar aquí la entrevista. Le damos al play y bueno, cualquier cosa en el chat pueden escribir, van dejando sus comentarios y Alex o yo podemos ir respondiendo los comentarios. Así que sin nada
Saludos,
más que...
saludos,
Bueno,
Rey, antes que mande, sí, está Chechix, que van, Drishkar, ¿quién más? Ed, Mataloni, Del Valle, Suni, saludos a todos, muchachos, muchas gracias por su apoyo. Recuerdo esos nombres porque están aquí con nosotros todos los viernes, así que muchas, 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 muchas gracias por su apoyo infinita. De verdad que sí, muchas gracias. Para eso estamos aquí todos los viernes, trabajando y echándole duro un camión, porque sé que ustedes por lo menos están aquí y bueno, aquí estamos dándole la cara, así que muchas gracias.
exacto, bueno, entonces bueno, vamos a comenzar con la entrevista, le damos play y vamos a estar aquí atentos en el chat, cualquier cosita escriben y le damos, vamos.
Excelente. Nos vemos dentro de unos minutos. A otro episodio de BNF. Mi nombre es Alexander o Alex y me pueden conseguir en Warpcast como @whatsgood_al. Y bueno, hoy en este episodio especial vamos a tener a unos amigos, compañeros de un proyecto súper chévere que está empezando ahorita en Warpcast, y ellos, bueno, van a buscar la manera de expandirse a nivel de las redes. Voy a darle la palabra a mi compañero Rey para que él haga su introducción y ya después de ahí empezamos. Pero con eso le doy la bienvenida a Isaac y a nuestro amigo Greg, y ellos son los que están representando el proyecto de Snickerdoodle. Así que bueno, Rey, te doy la palabra.
Gracias Alex y bueno, bienvenidos a todos. Bienvenido Isaac y Greg por esta nueva oportunidad de presentar el proyecto Snickerdoodle, y bueno, vamos a comenzar con una ronda de preguntas para conocer el proyecto. Excelente. Bueno, Alex,
vamos para encima. Isaac or Greg. All right, so first question, to whoever you guys, you can both answer if you want, but when it comes to Snickerdoodle, the name, pretty cool name. What inspired you guys, the name Snickerdoodle for the platform or for the project?
I could take that one. I think Greg and I might have different opinions on where the name came from.
Isaac was here when the name, closer to when the name was picked up.
Wait, why are you red, Isaac?
Look, I think I love the name. I think it's such a catchy name. It really represented who we are beginning of when we started the company. So like our first real aha moment when we started the company. Now I got to get this to our CEO, Jonathan Padilla, which funny is also Mexican. So we're just bringing more Latin community, more Latins into this space.
Awesome.
But he was head of strategy at PayPal for some time, and he really realized that they were using, and like all of their ideas were a lot more around sort of payments, and they didn't necessarily see NFTs as where there was an opportunity. So when JP was thinking about his next move, he was really thinking about sort of the cookie problem of how cookies are used today online, tracking behaviors, really empowering brands to use all this available data to create a better experience for users. But in this market, there wasn't a lot of value being driven to the end user. The end user was just consenting to sharing their data, and they were getting ads and they were getting personalized experiences. But when we were thinking about what the future was, it was how could we actually empower users to be able to earn from actually sharing their data? And then how do we actually replace and build a better cookie system for the internet? So that's sort of where Snickerdoodle came in as like the cookie replacement for Web3. So it was we were the cookies to Web3 when we started. I think we still have some of those ideologies with where the company is going. But right now we're really focused more on building decentralized ad networks where we're rewarding end users for the value that they're sharing with third parties, if that's content creators, if it's brands, if it's organizations, whoever it is. We just really want to allow users to be able to earn and continue participating in the value that they're generating.
Nice.
All right, nice. So it's about rewarding the users for sharing information. Is that right?
It could either be sharing information, participating in questing behaviors, or just driving any form of value that the brand is looking to extract.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Great.
And guys, can you tell us more about your background so we can get to know you more?
Yeah, Greg, do you want to go first, or should I just go first?
Sure. Yeah, I can go, I guess. I'm kind of newer to the team. I guess it's almost been a year now that I've been here, though. But
welcome.
Officially, in January. But my background is serial entrepreneur. I've been building, like Silicon Valley-based kind of venture-backed startups for about a decade now. But multiple startups before that. Ages ago, I helped. I was the first employee VP of product at a company called Clout. We measured online influence. I then left Clout though and did Y Combinator for my last startup, which is a user-generated content platform. After that, I've worked at a number of different Valley startups, but a couple other creator platforms. Most recently, before I joined Snickerdoodle, I started a company called Zealous, which is an AI content platform for creators to repurpose Twitter Spaces, live and recorded content. Did Techstars for that company as well. My background is, kind of all over the place, but engineering, was an engineer for the bulk of my life, but I was a designer even longer. So I've been CEO, CTO, CPO, kind of in one of those roles for the last 20 years or so.
Awesome. Great.
Nice.
Amazing. Isaac?
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, my name's Isaac. Originally from Puerto Rico, but my background really started in college. I actually studied to be industrial engineering. So a lot of my early career was a lot more in process engineering, working in warehouses, even worked at Pec implementing some Salesforce technology into the company. But once I graduated, really fell in love with sort of the tech space. Ended up joining a startup called Holanis, which was at for like 6 years. Similar to Greg, multiple different hats. Main role was around business development, but ended up launching an agency there. Worked with tons of different influencers, content creators, celebrities, helping them manage and grow their online presence. At some point, we were driving almost like 5 billion video views on Facebook and other social media sites. We also helped a bunch of different brands redo their sort of digital strategy. but then got into the Web3 space. Originally, when I was in college, started learning it from an educational standpoint for supply chain. But in 2018, when I was still working at that company, we started exploring one, how to run an ICO, which market crashed. Then we ended up just raising normally, which sort of the first leg in. And then we were actually working on some white papers around social tokenization for celebrities, influencers tied to the utility of the platform that we were developing. So that was sort of like my first way in. During COVID, ended up consulting a couple different companies and joined Snickerdoodle to lead the business development team about 2.5 years ago.
Nice.
Great.
Nice. Awesome. Now that you mentioned Web3, Isaac and Greg, my question will be, when it comes to Snickerdoodle, what excites you guys the most about the future of Web3 and its integration with the platform, such as Snickerdoodle?
I say this ironically, but I can't wait for Web3 to disappear. Right.
Okay. Got it.
And so the technologist in me, does not like that we talk about the technology so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about TCP/IP. We don't talk about any other thing. We don't talk about Swift. We don't talk about all these other concepts, right, in the normal world. And I think
Correct.
like the second we stop talking about Web3 and it becomes part of what we do all the time is when we have really turned the corner and unlocked its potential, right? But as long as it is this externality, special, new, complicated, whatever adjective you want to use for it, I think we will suffer from the adoption curve, right? And so for me, I think the technology is interesting. I usually joke that the blockchain is a crappy database with a crappy payment layer. But the reality is, like, the tech is not really the most astounding part to me. It's the culture, right? It's more about why people do it, and what we're espousing in the process of sort of trying to work in this new way. And I think that part you can't put back in the bottle. Like, you could do these things in a normal database with traditional payment rails potentially also, but you still have to have those values attached to it, right? And so for me, I'm just looking forward to when we stop talking about Web3 and actually we just keep building, but everyone's building now, with these new values in place.
Great. Awesome. Never heard of anyone. First time of hearing someone, let's stop talking about Web3. Here I am thinking that Web3 is the future.
It is the future, but but it'll be the future when it disappears, right? Like, remember in the beginning when the internet came out, they used to put E and I in front of everything, and now no one does that anymore, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point, right? Like the power is when technology disappears, right? And it just becomes normal and expected everywhere. And right now we have it in this special little box. And, to our convo earlier, a lot of people have misperceptions and fears about that box, right? And when those go away, then this will be everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then just to shed a little bit more light there, you also said, again, people don't necessarily like crypto. They're nervous about it, right? I think there's so many use cases that the technology could be used, but people don't need to know that they're actually using that technology.
Correct.
So it could be as simple as let's use ticketing, right? Like today you buy a ticket, you gotta go, you want to resell it, you go to StubHub or maybe Ticketmaster, and then people are not necessarily happy with all the extra fees that they incorporate there. But now let's imagine a different world. Now a new platform comes around where you could buy a ticket and easily be able to do peer-to-peer transactions and sell the tickets directly to people. If it's a concert ticket or an airline ticket, maybe a stay at a hotel, and you're actually able to just do a peer-to-peer transaction while having that trust and transparency, that the person on the other side is a real person, that you are going to get your money. And again, it can be seamless. You don't need to know that you're using the blockchain. You just need to have access to a platform that allows you to do that transaction as seamlessly, as effectively as possible. No one needs to know, there was blockchain technology in the back end that allowed the NFT to be fungible and non-fungible and allowed the other person to send you Bitcoin or an Ethereum or Ton or whatever it is, right? They just want the platform to be safe and secure. It's as simple as that.
And that's something that here in Latin America, a lot of people do use the P2P pretty much when it comes to Binance. You know, what we were just talking about before the interview is that, you know, a lot of the folks will transfer whatever money they have or they earn playing all these games to Binance and then just go to P2P, and that's how they take their money. So it's pretty cool, and it falls into what you guys are trying to do when it comes to that. You know, the peer-to-peer. They don't even know. You know, in Binance, they show that, for example, Ray, Isaac, or Greg, you know, all I see is, okay, well, Isaac is interested in buying USDT or USDC. Well, Isaac or Greg, are you available to make a transaction here within the next few minutes? And, you know, you pick up the order and you say, yeah, definitely, I'll buy you cryptos. And then here's your USDT. And then, you know, you go out for whatever you want to do with your USDT. So they don't see that there is a blockchain behind that. They don't see everything that's going on in the background with that. So that's amazing what you guys are trying to do. I like that.
All right. So now I have another question about. Now we know you guys integrated Snickerdoodle in Farcaster, right? So we have seen a couple of polls, and now we're wondering if you are planning to integrate Snickerdoodle with other apps.
The short answer is yes. Greg could probably go a lot deeper into sort of that roadmap, but our intention was to go into Farcaster, really use it as an ecosystem to be able to test. There's so many amazing Web3 users and communities that have been built within Farcaster. And also the frame technology allowed us to be able to move faster than other ecosystems, to be able to build sort of our ad tech that we're leveraging, or sort of the frames that pay system that we've developed within the Farcaster ecosystem. But we are looking to explore building these same types of ecosystems and supporting other platforms. If it's Telegram, it's Discord, is it X, and we're even looking at exploring building our own standalone site to really allow users to be able to engage one, two, or as many ecosystems that they want to engage to drive more engagement. Greg, I don't know if there's anything else that you might want to add there, maybe even showcase something as a sneak peek.
Probably a little hard to screen share, but I can't say I can get reset, I guess, probably a little more context on, I think, what we're building or why we're building it, right?
Sure.
And I think there's probably two very important parts to like why we exist, right? So the first part, you know, which Isaac has mentioned already, is ultimately we want to reset the dynamic between, you know, about how our attention, our data, right, is us as individuals, right, is sort of the value that's being created from it, right? And so if you think today, the traditional world, the large platforms, they have all our data and they basically monetize it for billions and trillions of dollars, right?
Correct.
At the same time, you have another ecosystem, the creator economy, which is also actually extracting tremendous value from the consumer, right? Like Mr. Beast is not worth something without the audience, right? But the audience doesn't usually participate in that dynamic. And so I think like the fundamental change that we see at Snickerdoodle is that all parties should have an equal win in the process, right? It's not about getting rid of the others, but it is about evening out the equation, right? And so we're very much a consumer first platform, because what we believe is that all attention, you know, data is the new oil. Our attention is an infinitely scarce sort of resource. And to the extent that a brand, a creator, another individual wants me to share it, to lend it, right? Like to harvest it in some way, shape, or form, we think that the fair thing to do is to make sure that us as individuals get to participate in the revenue that's created there, right? Okay. Now, historically, this has been very difficult, and this is one of the virtues of the blockchain, right? Like, and of crypto at large is, you know, these types of microtransactions, right? Like, you know, most folks have like a false impression about how much their data is actually worth, however, right? Like, so, you know, most people would be like, oh, I should get like $20 for that. And I'm like, think about it, Nike can't pay everybody $20 to look in an ad, right? Like,
Correct.
It doesn't make sense, right?
Absolutely.
So you need to be able to transact at a new kind of level and a new kind of velocity. And that's where crypto and the blockchain becomes like a super important part of the process, right? So that's part one. Number one is just like, hey, the dynamic should be better. We should all win while others win, right? The second part, though, to Isaac's point about like the platforms, is that where attention has gone has fundamentally shifted now, right? 30 years ago, you wanted to advertise on the internet, you had to buy ads on a search engine, right? Absolutely. 15 years ago, you want to advertise on the internet, you have to buy ads on social, right? But now where are we? We are in chats, we're in group chats, we're in Telegrams, we're in Discord, we're in Farcaster, we're in all this whole new world of places that is not traditionally visible to advertisers yet. And so what we're doing in Snickerdoodle is creating ad products and surfaces in all these new places that advertisers haven't been able to get to. But here's the truth. It's not like Alex, Ray, Isaac, Greg, like it's not like we're not also on Facebook. We're just in these other places, except in these other places, we're paying more attention, right? And so our model is to light up that new world, the next part of the world, and reset the economics of that relationship so that when advertisers do go there, they don't get away with the same crap they used to get away with. Now it's going to be a fair and equitable relationship on our terms in our places. And it's invite only now, right? Like we're letting them in.
Nice.
I like
Very
it.
good. Yeah. Awesome.
Very good.
Well, if in now that we touched the points or the topics on technology, Isaac or Greg, when it comes to the limits or technologic limits, if you could add any feature to Snickerdoodle, regardless of the current technology that we have right now, what would that be? Any type of feature?
I don't know. As you said that, I don't know if Greg will agree to this, but I think a hurdle today is that I think some of the old centralized platforms are still holding a lot of the data and sort of gatekeeping everything. And it would be very beneficial for the whole ecosystem if they were more open to sharing that data with users or providing access, which I know legally there are some laws that are being passed that allow us to go and ask any existing platform to provide the data. But even today, a lot of them are just building extra hoops and not educating the users to be able to go and sort of control that. Like today, I think you can go to Twitter or Facebook and say like, look, give me my data back. But it might take you a week to get it back. And there's no like a button to do it. You got to email them and continue requesting a certain amount of time, and then they'll provide access to it. So I think there's a lot of data that's being hidden behind closed doors. And I think if users could really access that data, it would give them a lot more, control to be able to then share that data with the brands that they really want to engage with and be able to actually make new sources of income off that.
Yeah, that probably is the exact same feature I would say. If I had a magic button, it would be like some button to let me have all the data that everyone has about me.
Perfect. So, get your data back. That's the future. Nice. Awesome. Nice. Ray?
All right, guys. So I have here the Snickerdoodle profile open here. Let me share my screen.
How can we find you, Greg, while Ray is sharing screen? Greg and Isaac on Warpcast or any social media that you guys may have?
Yeah, my handle is Gregarious personally. Isaac is Ilaz, ILAZ. Snickerdoodle is at Snickerdoodle. And our first ad network that we did launch is called Share to Earn. And that's actually a channel on Snickerdoodle called @/Share to Earn as well.
Okay, here it is. All right. So, okay, we saw that you guys invested 1 million DGen and you are giving away to the community, right? So can you walk us through this frame so people can get to know more how does it work, and just as an example.
Yeah, I'll give the context. Isaac can annotate kind of what's going on inside. But one of the challenges with new platforms is that if you want to attract advertisers and sponsors into that space, and this is a classic problem that every creator has as well, you have to know who's in the audience, right? And Farcaster has been growing, steadily, over the last year plus, or maybe 2 years now. But the reality is it's still kind of a black box to a lot of people on the outside. And so the goal of this State of Farcaster survey that we're doing is we wanted to provide a bit of a history and a bit of an understanding and a deeper dive into what's going on in Farcaster. Who are the people that are there? Why are they there? What are they doing there? Right? And then what are they hoping for, seeing for, and what's the best way to engage them? So we actually designed the State of Farcaster as a series of 8 or 9 connected surveys, right? You can take all of them or one of them, really, it doesn't really matter. You choose which you're comfortable answering. And we're delivering all that data, we're compiling all that data to then produce what we call the State of Farcaster report, which will be released in about 2 weeks. And it'll be a thing you can download, you can share with brands, you can share with advertisers, you can share with sponsors that maybe you're talking to as an individual creator, or someone working in social trying to get your company to start using Farcaster or whatever it may be. And so that's sort of the program itself. I'll let Isaac explain what's going on inside of here now.
So, will that be public, the results?
Yeah, everything will be public. So we actually have we've partnered with the GM Farcaster, what is it, a podcast? I forgot. It's podcast. A live stream / podcast. But we will be doing the release of the data on their show is the 13th, I believe, next Friday, not this Friday, but the one after, Friday the 13th. And then after that, the week after, we will be releasing the full survey. There'll be a page on our website where you can go, you drop your email in and you'll be able to download it. We'll also have a frame version of it so you can share it, and then also get to the full download, but we'll put some highlights and some other things out there as well into that as well. So yeah, a lot of ways to consume the content. But the goal is really to borrow a phrase from our friends over at Airstack, is to grow the GDP of Farcaster, right? And so ultimately, an audience is as valuable as the data that exists about it. And so we're trying to help stand up that data so that everyone can benefit.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, my last questions that I have here for you guys, Isaac and Greg, it's going to be 2 questions in one. And that will be is that how do you see Snickerdoodle evolving in the next few years, and what excites you guys the most about the future of Web3 when it comes to the integration with the platforms such as Snickerdoodle? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so I think what excites me, maybe just to hit that you just went through the whole frame. So this is how, these are our frames, but here you actually have 2 brands that are actually using the technology to also go and promote themselves. So Snickerdoodle tool is a tool that we're personally using for our own growth and to deliver this report. But it's also a tool that any brand and the content creator at the end of the day could also leverage to drive more awareness, drive more engagement, and then they acquire more of a community for them to be able to share in that revenue. So in this case, Ray, you just went through the whole flow. You actually earned 5 DGen for completing the survey. And if you actually click, let's say A there, you would actually be taken to a different ad, where if you actually complete this survey or this ad format, you will also be able to earn, as it says here, another 6 DGen for learning more about this company, which is Spritz, which I think is a super interesting company that's also using sort of Web3 technology to provide a way for users to be able to spend their tokens or any token. I think they support 100 different tokens through a credit card to pay their rent or pay Spotify or pay their different things. So the flow that you're actually going through now is you learn more about the company, and now sort of it takes you through like a questing module for you to be able to now follow the brand, engage with the brand, and be able to then earn the token after you go through this module.
Perfect.
Nice. And I just want to let everybody know that I received the 5 digit of the previous poll, and that was right away to my wallet. So I didn't have to claim anything, just got it on my wallet.
Yeah, you automatically receive it once you finish. We use based on whichever wallet you have connected to your Farcaster account. That's the wallet that's going to get funded. The other way that you could actually earn is actually resharing the frame. You become the publisher, and what it means for us to be the publisher is very similar to like an affiliate network, where now because you shared the frame and you got other people to engage and complete it, now both parties actually get rewarded for those actions. So just again, it's a new way to really incentivize an organic way of growing the businesses, but also rewarding the users. So in this case, if you actually go on the left-hand side, you have like a little recast button. So if you click that, it actually reopens a new frame that would actually be able to allow you to then post, recast sort of the sprint that you just went through. And now if Alex goes and he completes it, Alex is going to earn 6 degen, and Ray, you will also be earning an extra 6 degen for driving that engagement.
Wow, awesome. Now, I thought I had the last question there, but when it comes to doing or engaging with this, now, is there a limit, or can people, quote unquote, be doing this all day long, or is it like a 5 limit plays or a 10 limit?
There's no limits. No. Yeah, it is. There is no limit per se, but as this evolves in sophistication, there will be more targeting. So right now, it's kind of an open queue, but as more and more targeted sort of ads make their way in there, what will end up happening is you may not be eligible for as many things anymore. Okay. And so this is somewhat different than traditional ads, because you're not, we're not trying to interrupt. You're opting into this experience, right? And
that's the difference. That's the main difference.
Front, you're telling you what you're going to earn for your time, right? Sure. And so you get the decision. You get to make that decision up front. Like you're like, I don't care about degen. I don't want this ad, right? Or it's not worth my time, right? And then if you decide or you commit through it, then yes, then absolutely you can. So yeah, someone technically, like, this could be, if you're the right fit or you're the right match, you might be able to make a reasonable amount of money doing this. But that's because you're a human with insights, intelligence, right? And those insights are valuable, right? And so to the extent that there's a marketplace for the information you have, you'll be able to monetize it.
Awesome.
At the end of the day, it's a new way of capturing attention, in a way. So instead of, again, the main platforms earning off your attention, sort of your data, now they're just able to participate, know what they're going to get, what they're going to earn, and then be able to sort of go through this flow. And I'm very excited. We actually just launched targeting last week. We're still testing it out, but I'm very excited to sort of see how that's leveraged through our brand partners to continue rewarding qualified users.
Perfect. Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I really like it. Like you have the option to choose if you want to do it or not. Like it's not like ads that we know right now. So because ads right now, they interrupt your day, the content that you're consuming, but in this case, you opt in if you want to answer the questions or not, and then you continue with your life. So
yeah. And here's the other interesting thing here, though, is in the past, what's happening is behind the scenes, these platforms are developing a profile about you and then they're guessing what they think you want to see, right? In our world, you're volunteering that information about yourself because you want to monetize those aspects of yourself, right? So, for example, if you connect your wallet, you're saying like, great, the details about this wallet are good ways to find me, right? Like, I care about these tokens because that's why I hold them here. I care about these NFTs because that's why I have them, right? This is like how often I like to purchase. So don't give me things that are for long-term holders if you can see that I'm a short-term trader, right? Like, you opt in the data you want. And at any point, if you don't want to be like that to be leveraged anymore, you just go remove it, right? So you have control, right? None of us know the story that Facebook is constructed about us, right? You've never been able to read it. You've never been able to see it. You have no idea if it's right or wrong, right? But with us, you're constructing this version of yourself, right? Like from your own existing data and by volunteering answers about yourself, right?
Correct.
So that you can be reached with the best things for you.
Got it.
I prefer this way.
Yeah, exactly.
You share one article about a thing and then suddenly everything is about that thing. You're like, I don't even care about that thing. Like, someone asked me about it, right? Like, and it starts to make it into this, sort of like self-describing view of you, but you don't have a way to edit it, which means that you are sometimes forced into situations where it's totally inappropriate, right? Or just not undesirable. And you don't have a good way to reconcile that.
Yeah, the other thing I'll add to like what Greg was talking about, it's like how many times have you like bought something online? Like you're looking for whatever, a new phone, and you're searching the internet, you completed what you're looking for, you bought your phone, but still for another 2 weeks you're getting targeted by all these other brands. I already bought my phone, I already bought my watch. I already allocated my yearly budget for the expensive watch. I'm done. Why are you targeting me? Like, there should be a way for all these companies to know, like, hey, this user already bought a watch, they're done. Like, stop wasting your dollars on this targeting this user that has zero chance of buying your watch because they only buy once a year, right? And that helps both people. Helps the user get a better experience because now they're not looking at all these ads that are not relevant to them, but also protects the brand from spending a bunch of extra dollars on targeting a user that is not going to complete their desired KPI, which is purchase.
Totally agree with that.
I guess you guys will have to get access to the mic like Google or Facebook does on their phone, to where you can say, hey guys, I bought my phone now.
Billions of dollars wasted on retargeting when it's after you've bought the thing. Right?
And they'll stop right away.
No doubt.
Now with us, for example, we haven't built this part yet. You could connect your credit card, your bank statements, and we would see purchases from a place. And so suddenly it's like, oh, you already made a purchase from XYZ vendor, right? So now it's like, great, stop it. Just, if you've got a purchase recently from this place, I don't need to show you ads anymore.
Exactly. Or move on to another ad.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Or move on to another ad. Yeah. For another product.
Yeah, that would be part of the targeting, right? Or the retargeting. Like you as a user could actually then just change your own things. Like, hey, I don't want to see this anymore. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're opting out of this experience, this linear experience that the brand's trying to target you. So it's a two-sided communication.
Awesome. Great. I like the idea. Perfect. I like it. You own your advertisement. You own everything of what you see with Snickerdoodle. So I like it. You're the owner. Perfect. Ray, any other questions?
Well, it's pretty much clear now for me. I learned a few things today about ads and how much money companies waste, targeting people. And
I will say one thing though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just relative, it's an expectation that I think, and we kind of touched on it, but to us, this is better together, right? This doesn't work at the individual level that well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want folks to like remember that, because I feel like a lot of times folks get upset. They're like, you know, they feel like their net worth and their personal worth are like commingled, right? And it's not actually the case, right? So the reason this doesn't work today or in the traditional world is advertisers don't buy ads to specific people. They buy ads to sets of people, right? And they run campaigns at scale to reach groups of people, right? And so even though individually our data is of value, it is actually when we come together that data, that value can be realized, right? Because, you know, an advertiser doesn't have the bandwidth, the resources to like be out there negotiating, like, here's the ad I'm going to serve to Isaac, and here's the one that Alex is going to get, and here's the one that Ray's going to get, right? But they also can't go to a place that's too small, right? And so the reason Snickerdoodle exists is actually to provide a way, not just for you to have like agency in how your data is used and to participate in the value created, but it's to bring us together so that you can actually generate that value, right? So that's why creators are so important in our ecosystem, publishers and networks, like all these are important parts. We're not saying they're fundamentally bad, right? Like they serve a purpose. So for me, it's important for folks to understand, like, you're not going to make a lot of money by yourself, but when you get together, right, that's when you start to really be able to win things, right? Like Groupon won, we got better deals from Groupon because we were together, not because there was one of us, right? Like no one wants to do a deal for one person, but if there's 1,000 of us, 10,000 of us, 100,000 of us, right, with shared interest, values, and alignment, like then that starts to work. And so that's the most important part. Is that this only really scales if we join together in lots of different dynamic ways. But it won't work if you're just standing up there saying, hey, you should pay me. That you won't get rewarded that way.
Nice. Awesome.
Nice.
I like it. Isaac, any last words?
I think Greg put it together pretty well. I couldn't agree more with this statement. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys' time here today.
Thank you.
And it was great chatting with you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to meet in person one day.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It'll be fun. Thanks for
Ray,
having me.
any last words? No, thank you guys.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time, and thank you for showing us Snickerdoodle.
Bueno, muchachos, y esto ha sido todo por este episodio, un episodio súper chévere porque hemos aprendido a lo que va a ser el futuro de lo que son los anuncios prácticamente con lo que es la Web3. Este proyecto se ve que tiene, valga la redundancia, un futuro súper chévere y súper bien en on-chain o en el bloque, porque ya tú vas a decidir si tú quieres ver un anuncio o no y te van a pagar por eso. Entonces, bueno, mi nombre es Alexander. Me pueden conseguir en Warpcast como @whatsgood_al y bueno, yo me despido. Estén pendientes, chicos. Ray compartió en su feed lo que son los frames de Snickerdoodle y bueno, vamos a aprender un poco más sobre ellos y a interactuar y a conocerlos más a ellos. Así que bueno, yo me despido y le doy la palabra a Ray y bueno, y Isaac y a Greg si se quieren despedir. Si pueden decir, can you guys say Buenas Noches Farcaster for an outro? That would be amazing.
Buenas noches.
Awesome.
Bueno, chicos, muchas gracias por venir. Buenas noches, Farcaster. Y voy a estar compartiendo lo que serían los frames de Snickerdoodle y sus handles o las redes sociales para que los puedan seguir a Greg y a Isaac y también a Snickerdoodle. Así que chequen en los comentarios que voy a estar compartiendo todo por allí.
Excelente. Buenas noches, Farcaster.
Buenas noches, Farcaster.
Bye.
Awesome.
Bueno, ahí tienen lo que es Snickerdoodle. ¿Qué te pareció, Alex?
Súper bien, me encanta. A mí me encantó ese proyecto. Algo que te puede recompensar tu tiempo y no nada más que te recompensa tu tiempo, sino que también te pagan por ver algún o hacer alguna encuesta sobre algún artículo que tú que más te interesa o más te llame la atención o que estés interesado en comprar. Entonces, creo que como le hice la pregunta a los muchachos ahí al principio, que si hay algún límite sobre eso y bueno, ya sabemos que ahí podemos pasar 2 o 3 o 4 o 5 horas haciendo encuestas y bueno, por cada encuesta depende de lo que te vaya a pagar el monto, ¿no? Esa encuesta ya sea 5 días, 10 días, 20 días y como dice el hermano que van o Carlos, todo eso suma. Así que bueno, a mí me encantó porque es algo, es una empresa que tú optas o tienes la decisión de si tú quieres hacer la encuesta o no, si tú quieres perder el tiempo o no, y si quieres ganar esos DJ o no. Así que bueno, el de la decisión eres tú, el dueño de todo eso eres tú, así que me encanta, me encanta. ¿Y
Sí,
a ti?
la verdad que es muy buena. Como dices tú, puedes optar si quieres o no quieres.
Ujú,
Y bueno, para los interesados que están escuchando esto en este momento, en el canal de BNF están los frames, los acabo de compartir hace un momento. Les
ujú,
coloqué encuesta 1, encuesta 2, encuesta 3 y así los van a ir consiguiendo uno por uno para que
exacto,
realicen, si ustedes lo quieren, si no, también está bien, pueden realizar la encuesta, es rápida, son 4 o 5 preguntas cada encuesta
correcto,
y automáticamente al finalizar la encuesta van a recibir una recompensa por su tiempo. O sea, ustedes están dando su tiempo y ellos le están dando a cambio algo. Esas encuestas, como vieron en la entrevista, van a estar eh, mostrando los resultados después. Así que ya después podrán ver los resultados. No sé, cada quien es libre de hacer con esa información lo que quieran, pero ya van a estar disponibles pronto en 1 o 2 semanas en Farcaster.
claro. Y lo bueno de todo eso, Ray, es que no hay que reclamar absolutamente nada, no tienes que ir para una página en especial o el frame no te manda para otro lado a que hagas el reclamo o el claim de esos DJs, sino que ya automáticamente eso te sale ahí en tu cartera. Así que eso es lo otro bueno o el otro plus eh, de lo que es este Snickerdoodle. Y bueno, y obviamente tiene sentido el canal de ellos que se llama Share to Earn. Ahorita vamos a ver si vamos a poner aquí que es el slash Share to Earn para que vayan y también lo sigan a ellos ahí también. Eh, y bueno, ahí está Share to Earn. Los pueden seguir. Ok. Eso en español, bueno, es comparte para que ganes. Eh, y bueno, a hacer encuestas, a hacer todas las encuestas.
Bien, ahí estoy compartiendo la pantalla, lo que es el canal de Share to Earn y
Ujú.
la cuenta es Snickerdoodle y los creadores son, creo que era, no recuerdo cómo era el usuario,
Isaac es
ahí está.
Lians con Z.
Isaac, para que lo puedan seguir,
Ujú.
y el de Greg es este que está por acá, así que pueden seguir las dos cuentas de ellos, la cuenta de Snickerdoodle y el canal de Share to Earn.
Claro.
Así que bueno, eso es básicamente todo por el día de hoy.
¿Cómo está el precio del DJ en Rai? Cuéntame.
Bajando, todo está bajando el día de hoy. Noticias macroeconómicas y bueno, impacta el precio de todo lo que son las criptomonedas y muchos
Correcto.
activos económicos.
Excelente. Así que bueno, muchachos, no se desanimen. El mercado, todos los mercados están así. Falta ya pocos ya para que empecemos a ver la luz en el túnel. Pero bueno, mientras tanto hay que estar aguantando un poquitico más de comerse las uñas y nervios nerviosos. Y nada, no se desanimen, no se desanimen. Así son todos los mercados, todos los mercados. Y bueno, una vez más, solidaridad con los hermanos allá en Venezuela, a todos aquellos que están sufriendo con el problema de las luces o de la electricidad. Así que bueno, entendemos la razón del por qué ustedes no están aquí con nosotros dándonos ese apoyo, pero igual nosotros los apoyamos a ustedes desde la distancia. Eh, bueno, Ray, una vez más, gracias por tu tiempo, gracias a todos por su tiempo, su valioso tiempo, por estar aquí con nosotros. Alexander o Alex se despiden, me pueden conseguir como @whatsgood_al en WordCast. Y bueno, les deseo mucha bendición, mucha vida, salud y saludos a todas las personas que estuvieron aquí una vez más y a que llegó, creo que es Lenom. Hermano, buenas noches, chicos. Llegando. Sí, hermanito, bueno. Pero llegaste. Aquí estamos, papá. Saludos para ti. Bendiciones. Cuídate. Buenas noches, Farcaster. Me despido.
Bueno, saludos a todos, que pasen una feliz noche. Y bueno, para el que ve esto grabado, ya saben, están los frames en el canal de BN Farcaster. Pueden realizar las encuestas, 4 o 5 preguntas y reciben DJs en su billetera inmediatamente. Termina el frame y reciben la recompensa. Así que vayan a chequear el canal, siguen el canal y nos vemos la siguiente semana con otro nuevo episodio. Buenas noches, Farcaster.
Se les quiere. Arigato.